Microsoft Defender, it's not just another antivirus product anymore. It is a security platform. You see more, you respond faster, and you stop attacks before they ever become business disruptions.
Welcome to Demystifying Microsoft, a podcast by the Sourcepass Center of Excellence for Microsoft. We believe Microsoft shouldn't be hard. Each week, we break down what's changing across the Microsoft ecosystem, help you solve your toughest challenges, and provide clear, actionable advice to keep you ahead of the curve. If you're responsible for Microsoft decisions and want clarity without complexity, you're in the right place.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Welcome to the Demystifying Microsoft podcast, where we break down Microsoft's latest updates, licensing changes, and new features so you know what's changing, and more importantly, why it matters. I'm your host, Austin Kelly, and I've spent the last 5 years as a solutions professional here at the Sourcepass MCOE, and I've been working in the Microsoft ecosystem for over 8 years. So I've seen a lot of things. We know how Microsoft does it. They change almost everything every year. So it's tough to stay on top of things, but that's why there are people like me to read up on licensing changes and whatnot so that you don't have to. Quick few notes here. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and follow the pod so you never miss an episode. Also, please give us a comment. Let us know your thoughts and opinions. And if you have the time, let us know. We love getting feedback from our listeners. We like the engagement and we want to know how we're doing. So please do that. If you have a few minutes to spare, we really appreciate it. So the big question, what is new? What's hot off the press? So glad you asked, because today we're talking about something that every business should be paying attention to, and that is the Microsoft Defender suite. Now, when most people hear Defender, they immediately think antivirus. That's true. It does have antivirus in it, but Defender's evolved into something much bigger. Today, it's an entire security platform that's designed to protect your identities, devices, your email, your cloud apps, and your data. Now, the interesting part is, as time goes on, cyber attacks, they change, they evolve, and especially over the last few years. Attackers aren't just trying to infect one computer, they're trying to steal identities, they're going to move through your network, they're going to access sensitive information, and they're going to stay hidden as long as possible. I mean, these hackers nowadays are like ninjas. They get in, they stay in, you can't find them, and when you do, it's too late. So that's why Defender's kind of there. So today I want to walk through 5 features of the Defender suite that I think provide the biggest value to businesses. And I have one special honorable mention, so stick around for that. You don't want to miss it. Here we go. Now, if I had to pick just one feature that makes the Defender suite stand out, it's probably attack disruption. So if you think about how security used to work, for example, employee clicks a phishing email, malware gets installed, IT gets an alert, and then the cleanup begins. Attack disruption literally puts that standard operating procedure to shame. Instead of simply telling you that an attack is happening, Microsoft Defender actually tries to stop it while it's happening. So let's say someone's credentials are hijacked, the attacker signs in, starts moving through the environment looking for other systems or trying to deploy ransomware. Rather than waiting for someone in IT to notice what's happening, Defender can automatically disable that compromised account. It can lock in on that specific device that's being hacked and stop that attack from spreading. That's a huge difference. Every minute an attacker spends inside your environment gives them an opportunity to do damage. It's kind of like hearing a baby cry versus giving it a bottle before it gets hungry. Or you give the baby a bottle before it goes to the restroom. So you want to make sure the baby's happy before anything bad happens, before it's too late. Number 2, Microsoft's Unified XDR, or Extended Detection and Response. Another acronym. Microsoft loves to do that to us. The easiest way to really think about XDR and Defender is it connects the dots for you, right? Imagine an employee clicks a phishing email. A few minutes later, you see an unusual login, and then a PowerShell script starts running. A cloud application begins downloading sensitive files. If you had separate security tools, you'd be receiving 4 different alerts from 4 different places, and talk about confusing. Maybe you're still doing that. Maybe you have different systems and you're able to see different alerts and whatnot, but every alert you get, you have to individually investigate to try to figure out if they're related. Defender takes care of that for you. It really correlates all of those activities into one incident. So instead of seeing 4 random alerts, your security team only sees one attack from beginning to end. And for you, a business, your IT team, that's a lot less guessing and much faster response times. And for lean IT teams, which a lot of SMB clients that we have, they don't have these massive IT teams. They don't have SOC center that's constantly monitoring all this stuff. That's incredibly valuable because you're spending less time piecing together the story and more time actually fixing the problem. Let's talk about email and collaboration security because that's where most of us spend our time. We're constantly emailing, we're sharing files via SharePoint, OneDrive, even Teams. That is where we spend most of our time. And this is why this really makes the top 5 list for me. Because most cyber attacks happen, they start with an email. Doesn't matter how much you've invested in firewalls or endpoint protection. If someone clicks the wrong link, opens up a malicious attachment, and falls for that phishing email, the attacker now has a way into your environment. What I like about Microsoft Defender is that it just doesn't focus on Outlook or Exchange. It protects your Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. So your entire M365 suite collaboration tools, they're all protected. Now, when an email comes in, Defender is scanning those links, scanning those attachments, those messages for phishing attempts, malware, spoofing, and other suspicious activity. Defender also uses AI and behavioral analysis to identify newer threats that you may not catch or match traditional signatures. Defender doesn't stop there. After the email comes through, if the user actually clicks that link or opens a file, Defender continues to monitor suspicious behavior. And if something looks malicious, it can then automatically investigate and take action. So pretty huge there for Microsoft Defender. It works in the background, catches any threats early and helps stop them before they become a major incident. And again, that's kind of really the goal, right? We want to make sure we're catching it up front, so before it's too late. And at the end of the day, email is still the front door for most organizations. And Defender helps keep that front door secure while also protecting the Teams chats, files, and collaboration tools that your employees are using every single day. Next up, exposure management. This one's super interesting because, again, like I said earlier, it's more proactive instead of reactive. And when you think about your organization, you probably have vulnerabilities. A lot of companies do, a lot of businesses do. Maybe you have missing patches, you have weak configuration, maybe you have misconfigured identities. And for you, the problem isn't finding those vulnerabilities. The problem is finding out which ones matter. Now, we've done a lot of security assessments for our clients. We've worked with a number of clients that have vulnerabilities, just like every other business out there. And the thing about it is, day-to-days are busy. Nobody really has the time to fix 100 vulnerabilities within their organization. If you do, shout out to you. But what Defender does is it prioritizes those risks based on how attackers are most likely to exploit them. So instead of saying, hey, you've got 500 things to fix, it says, here are 25 things that reduce the most risk if you tackle them first. And that's a different approach. You see the big picture when you get the notification that says, hey, you've got 500 things wrong, but Defender really lets you hone in to what those most important things are. So you're not just patching everything, you're making a strategic security decision based on the actual risk. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about is before the honorable mention. So again, stay tuned for that, is data protection and insider risk. And this is becoming more important, especially since it's protecting your actual data. Because when you think cybersecurity, you usually think, okay, we're protecting hackers from breaking into our network. But sometimes the biggest risk is the sensitive information leaving your organization, whether that's accidental or intentional. Either way, businesses need visibility into where their data is going. And the Defender Suite helps detect things like unusual downloads, risky sharing activity, suspicious user behavior, and anybody attempting to move something out of your organization. Think about financial records, customer information, intellectual property. If you have any HR documents, those are some of the most valuable assets that a business has, and protecting those devices is extremely important. Protecting the identities is extremely important too, but protecting the data itself is really what security is all about. Now, like I said, honorable mention coming at the end, and I do want to preface this. Although this is not included in the Defender Suite, it's one of the coolest things out there, one of the hottest things off the press, if you will. It is Security Copilot. And as more and more businesses, as more and more of our clients are adopting Copilot for Business or Copilot for Enterprise, whichever one it is, whichever one fits your organization the best, Defender is integrated in that, and it's really changing how security teams work. So if you've ever looked at a security dashboard, you know that depending on the day, it can be overwhelming, right? You're getting hundreds of alerts. There's a lot of technical jargon. There's a bunch of logs you're looking at. And depending on how sophisticated your environment is, finding the actual issue can take hours. And Security Copilot brings AI into that process. So you, instead of manually digging through all that information, you can ask questions like we normally do in Copilot. What happened? How did this happen? How does this start? What should I do next? And within seconds, Security Copilot summarizes the incident, explains the attack path, identifies users and devices, and even recommends remediation steps. And again, that is a massive win for organizations that may not have a dedicated security operations center. Again, most small, medium businesses have a lean IT team, and this makes extremely easy for you to track those cyber attacks down more quickly. And I think a lot of us are worried about our future because of AI, but AI isn't replacing security professionals. It's really helping them work smarter and respond faster. So to recap, 5 biggest game changers included in Defender are attack disruption, because it actively stops attacks instead of just detecting them. Unified XDR, because it connects security signals into one complete incident. Remember, you're not taking 4 different things and trying to piece them together. You have your email and collaboration security, because it's still one of those gateways to cyber attacks, still one of the most common. Exposure management, because it tells you what you actually need to do, what you need to pay attention to, instead of overwhelming you with a different security alert for all hundreds of those that you have. Data protection, insider risk, because protecting your information is ultimately the goal of every security investment. And lastly, the trusty honorable mention, Microsoft Security Copilot, because again, AI is not here to steal your job. AI is here to help you. It's here to help your security teams investigate and respond much faster. So my biggest takeaway here is that Microsoft Defender, it's not just another antivirus product anymore. It is a security platform. You see more, you respond faster, and you stop attacks before they ever become business disruptions. So all that in mind, thank you so much for tuning in to the Demystifying Microsoft podcast. If you found this episode helpful, again, like, subscribe, comment, give us a follow so you never miss the latest Microsoft update, because trust me, there are going to be more, and we've got you covered. Also, if you have any questions, you want to get in touch with our team, head on over to our website, fill out the Contact Us form, and we will be sure to reach out and start up a discussion to see how we can best help you. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for joining us on Demystifying Microsoft, brought to you by the Sourcepass Center of Excellence for Microsoft. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen so you don't miss an episode. If you would like to talk to one of our Microsoft problem solvers, click on the link in the episode description or contact our team at sourcepassmcoe.com. Thank you.